Shalom, shalom, elder. Hallelujah, hallelujah, and Yahusha Shem. So be it. Todah Yah. Hallelujah,
So be it, Todayah. And shalom, shalom, family, for all you who are giving us the opportunity to share our information with you, to allow us to come into your personal space and, to share the Ruach, to read and increase in scriptures. The whole reason why we call this unlocking scriptures, because people people really need to know what the scriptures mean. You know what I'm saying? Understand what they
hmm
mean. I mean, we talk about a belief system, elder. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it ain't so much about the belief system because it's no good without the understanding in what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? And it's tons of information out here. Some righteous, some unrighteous.
hmm
Some delicious and some that's foul. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we got to figure out how to understand what we're supposed to do with the scriptures, which is our guidance. It's the school teacher. You know what I'm saying? It's the spoken word of the creator YaHUaH. That's what we understand. And because we understand it, we can believe in it. I would say don't believe in anything you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Until you
hmm
figure it out technically. So, but hey, praise Yahuwah, the mighty father of Abraham, the mighty father of Isaac, the mighty father of Yaakub, and shalom to everyone in the name of Yahusha.
Shalom, shalom.
Hey, as we sit here and we go through the scriptures tonight, our title is, of course, Marriage Before Sex. This is a mature conversation, basically, And it's like, hey, we're not saying that we're here to convert anybody. We're not saying you have to agree with our information, but we say at least hear our content before you make your judgment. You know what I'm saying? So, and if what we share is unedible for you, then just go do you 100 as always. You know what I'm saying? And we hope that you find your way to the kingdom of Yahuwah by believing what you learn to understand and verify is the truth without a doubt, that you may be able to serve Yahuwah for eternity. Hallelujah, right?
Hallelujah.
Hey, this thing here we want to deal with sex before marriage. I guess as a parent, when you're dealing with your children, you know, especially your male sons, because with me it was, especially my boys, it's like it's like, hey man, sex before marriage, it ain't a good thing. You know what I'm saying? We grew up at a time where, we play hide, go get it, and catch a girl, kiss the girl, and all that stuff, rubbing each other through the pants and all that stuff until we get to the point where we get adventurous and then we start doing things bare naked. You know what I'm saying? And
hmm
then here, when your body is developed to the point where it produces for the young ladies the menstrual and for the young men the seed, then if you don't know how to manage that, then here come babies. You know what I'm saying? And
hmm
the whole order of your whore for establishing marriage was for us to come into the knowledge of our bodies, of our consciousness, and of each other so that we would be able to deal with this in harmony. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? But today, people is just reckless with sex. The younger the generation, the more reckless. But then again, I don't want to say that because there's a bunch of old people out here that's reckless also still,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But what about sex before marriage? What about the institution of marriage that the creator set up in Genesis 1 or Genesis 2, rather? You know what I'm saying? So, with the way things work in the world today, the information given us today in the world pollutes the institution of what the creator established and the guidelines to preserve your marriage. So now everybody want to test the cow. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to sample the milk, as they say.
Right.
Hey, back then marriages were arranged. You know what I'm saying? And you have to pay a dowry also, because you ain't gonna just throw away something you pay for the most part. You pull a lot of money into it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It wasn't so much you buying your wife, but it was like, hey, here's a financial agreement, because that means that your family was economically set in order for your sons to be able to take on a wife and manage the marriage, manage the property, manage the financing, you know what I'm saying? Manage the household with the children being born into the home, basically, right? So for my young people out there, hey man, I know most of you all have already done dipped into the pot already. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, some of y'all got caught up and you produced yourself, technically, you know. But now, because you felt your body was mature enough to handle the sexual act of and that pleasure, and you wasn't, you know. And one of the worst things that, was put in the black community, as they call it, was Planned Parenthood. Because not so much they were aborting children, but they were encouraging you to have sex. They call it protective sex, but hey man, they were still encouraging you and your community to have sex. And then when you got pregnant, young lady came in and she had to exterminate the pregnancy because you're not ready yet. YaHUaH wasn't, he's not a father of death like that. It's all about life with the Father, the Creator, Elder. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But
Mm-hmm.
hey, here's a society that has been telling us sex is a green light. Get it anywhere you can, anywhere you want it, as often as you want it, with whoever you want it with. But there's a price to pay when we're dealing out of the norm, the normality of what was established. Because if people say, well, I don't believe in my Bible, or this part don't affect me from the Bible, hey, everything really affects you. It's just that you lack the understanding for the most part, because someone who's teaching it to you didn't understand it or understood it and said, well, I'm gonna omit this part that
Right.
I teach. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you do better to deal with all of it. You know, but I don't want to ramble on too long. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to get to the meat of this understanding, which is sex before marriage, right? And we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna look at three scenarios that the Father has set up, which looks like marriage doesn't come into play, but marriage should have been established in the play. But what about this situation? Because when we look at YaHUaH and Tamar, for instance, you know what I'm saying? There's an order of preservation done through what we would look at as a sexual encounter to raise up a seed, technically. You know what I'm saying? But hey, the way YaHUaH got it set up, it's a perfect system. You know,
Right.
God, Satan, the devil, and his sons Belials, they pollute everything, and it's not by accident. But hey, let's go to First Chronicles chapter 2, Elder. And let's just, because it's about genealogy. It's about family. It's about establishing where you come from, who you come from, and what you are going to procreate yourself to add to the ancestry of the lineage, basically. You know what I'm saying? But let's get a little bit of history right here in First Chronicles chapter 2, verse 1 through 4, Elder.
Verse 1.
Uh-huh.
These were the sons of Yasharah: Reuben, Shaaman, Lehi, Yehuda, Yissachar, Zebulon, Dan Yahu, Yehusaph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The sons of Yehuda were Onan, and Shelah, three born to him by the daughter of Shua, a Canaanitess. The firstborn of Yehuda, was so evil in the eyes of YaHUaH, he killed him. Then Tamar, his daughter-in-law, bore him Perez and Zerah. So all the sons of Yehuda were five.
Okay, so I don't know if many people are familiar with the story of YaHUaH and Tamar, right? But here's the ordinance that the father YaHUaH created for the sons of Yasharah to replace a brethren who died without a son. right? So the key was to marry your brother's widow. That's the only other way you could touch your brother's wife is if he was dead, he didn't have a seed, and therefore you were to marry her and raise up a seed unto him, technically. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 38. Let's look at the understanding that one of the sons who were requested to marry the eldest brother's wife Tamar and raise a seed unto him, right? But again, it's about when you wicked and you evil and you think that you ain't got to do something, lawfully according to the creator, there's consequences for that, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, hey, there is no real instructions for sex before marriage for minors. You know what I'm saying? That put a burden on everybody. The
Right.
father, the mothers, you know what I'm saying, the other siblings, you know what I'm saying, even themselves trying to raise a baby, trying to raise a baby, as they would say. But YaHUaH have this thing already laid out. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna look at a couple of different scenarios about how you have to be careful when you're dealing with sex before marriage. Now, if you're all in your 40s and your 30s or your 50s and even your mid to 20s, but if you got yourself together, then you can begin to build your house. You know what I'm saying? And I know people are like, well, you can't tell me, when I can't get down when I want to get down. I ain't saying you can't get down when you want to get down. I'm just saying that the order of the creator before you get down has stipulations. You know what I'm saying? So either you're going to deal with the stipulations and have a successful relationship, or you're not going to deal with the stipulations and you're going to find yourself with some hardship.
Right.
18
Right.
months or 18 years, or maybe, as they say, Chasup will be your best friend. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So, the old saying was, it's best to keep her than to put her away. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Cheaper to keep her.
It's cheaper to keep her. You know what I'm saying? So hey, here's what we just established. YaHUaH's genealogy, basically.
Uh-huh.
And it started with YaHUaH because we know that through him come King Daoud, and through King Daoud come the Mashiach Yahusha, right? But hey, we're looking at him having to deal with his daughter-in-law Tamar, right? So
Hmm.
now, Genesis, the 38th chapter, right?
Right.
Let's get some background information on this situation we're gonna explore, and let's see how it's supposed to turn out versus how people make it seems. Because what you portray to be a smoke and mirrors, the truth is behind the smoke and mirrors eventually. You know what I'm saying? So hey, here's an ordinance that's set up by YaHUaH, our creator, our father, right? So Genesis 38, and pick up at verse 6, Elder.
Verse 6. Then Yehuda took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar.
Okay, so YaHUaH took a wife for his son, right? He didn't go out and, didn't go out and petition women, hey, I'm looking for a wife. He didn't do all that. He didn't say, well, you know what, I'm of age now. I need to get my booty call going on. You know what I'm saying? I got to get my list, my black book together. He wasn't dealing with that because the marriage institution with YaHUaH is sacred. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This order that we're supposed to deal with is sacred. So, hey, and the order was, hey, your father was supposed to petition another father who had a daughter to say, hey, man, I think my son will benefit your daughter in the holiness union of YaHUaH because he's of age and he's a man and he's prepared to build his house. You know what I'm saying? So what came with that? A dowry came with that. An agreement for a financial acceptance for these two to come together. So hey, if something might have happened, hey, there was some backup money. Could have been that purpose. But the whole point is that, hey, it wasn't about sex before marriage. Let's get married. Let's marry them all first, And fortunately, people might say, well, no, that ain't fortunate. You stuck with your with your spouse in the
Yeah.
eyes of the creator YaHUaH. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't believe in putting away. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. But here's the eldest son, that YaHUaH has gotten him a wife, right? Go ahead, elder.
Verse verse 7.
Yeah.
But Yehudah's firstborn was wicked in Yahuwah's sight, so Yahuwah put him to death.
Hey, now that's a bad situation for the sister if her husband that she has to marry or about to marry, or as they say today, I was love at first sight. You know, that's just an attraction at first sight. You know what I'm saying? But if he messed up in the head and he got some problems, she gonna feel it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And she'll feel trapped. You know, that's why it says to love your wife as yourself.
Right.
What man would look in the mirror and hate himself and punch himself in the face? No, he loves his flesh. Your wife is your flesh. You're supposed to love your wife just like you love yourself, if not
Mm-hmm.
more. You know what I'm saying? But hey, was wicked to the point where Yahuwah destroyed him for his wickedness and his sins. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Then Yehudah said to Onan, go in to your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to produce offspring for your brother.
Now, hey, people don't want to deal with this today, but just understand it. I ain't saying that you got to deal with. We ain't saying that, hey, bro, if one of your brothers died, he first he got married and didn't leave no kid, you got to go and marry her and all that. You know what? I don't even know if that's still on the table with you, but we know in the society of man, people call you all kind of stuff. But remember, the woman is free from adultery if she's a widow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not even a question on the table because he dead and she's a widow. She's free to remarry, technically, right? So hey, don't just put a baby in her and then send her on her way. That's not how that was supposed to work either. You know what I'm saying? But hey, he says that uh at verse 7, right? But Yahuwah firstborn, was wicked in Yahuwah's sight, and Yahuwah put him to death. Then Yahudah said to Onah, the second son, go into your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to produce offspring for your brother, basically. So now you gotta marry her, get her pregnant, so she can conceive. That firstborn child, especially the male child, will not be yours. It would be your brother's. So that his name would not be put out of YaHUaH forever with his lineage, his genealogy, right? So hey, verse 8, Elder, read that again for me.
Verse 8. Then Yehudah said to Onan, go in to your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to produce offspring for your brother.
Now, look at what he was thinking. Read verse 9. Throw 9 in there right quick.
Verse 9. But Onan knew the offspring would not be his. So whenever he lay with his brother's wife, he spilled his seed on the ground to keep from producing offspring for his brother.
Wait a minute. So today they call that the pull-out game. You know what I'm saying? So hey, Yahuwah wasn't having that. Ain't no pulling out. Do your duty, technically. You know what I'm saying? So now this he pulled out, so he was worthy of what? Verse 10.
Verse 10. And the thing he did was evil in Yahuwah's sight, so he put him to death also.
Hey, why is it evil in the sight of Yahuwah? Because in Genesis 2, Genesis 1, Yahuwah told Adam, hey, be fruitful and multiply.
Multiply.
He didn't say, hey, go get you some and pull out. He didn't say that, right? He said, hey, I need for you to start to fill the earth with your descendants.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that, man. But this brother realized that I know that if I get Tamar pregnant, that firstborn child that she give ain't gonna be mine. And it's like, man, I gotta take care of somebody else's kid. Hey man, that's your family member. You know what I'm saying? So it's an infant. You're supposed to love that like you love your brother when he was alive. So because your brother was wicked and you wicked, so y'all want get along, y'all bumping heads. That would be the only case. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? It ain't about wham, thank you, ma'am. It's about the preservation of the house of Yasharah by the male having his lineage in the earth. Because we read that the other day. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That the genealogy, and was it numbers one, was it?
Numbers 1 and 18.
1 and 18, you supposed to be in the ancestry, basically. You know what I'm saying? So hey, hear, O house of Yasharah. YaHUaH is the same today, tomorrow, and everlasting, because he changed not. Therefore, you
All
sons
right.
of Yaqub are not destroyed or consumed. We still here. Right? But hey, let's go to Luke right quick. Because now people want to use this situation and pollute it by saying, well, who wife she gonna be in heaven? You know what I'm saying? Hey man, he said you don't understand scripture. That's why I say, don't have faith in what you don't believe in or understand. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe what you don't understand. You need to understand it. So you can say, well, I believe in it. And belief is just simply what? Faith. You can put belief into your faith, basically. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But hey, Luke chapter 20, elder. So again, here is a situation where the woman was already married. So sex before marriage is out the question because she was already once married. Yehuda gave his son a wife and he paid the dowry. But because he was a knucklehead and he sinned against Yahuwah, Yahuwah took him out. Lights out, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Now he commanded the second son, hey, go fulfill your duty to your brother for raising up a seed according to the will of YaHUaH. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So hey, Luke chapter 20, right? Luke 20 and verse 27, elder.
Verse 27. Then certain of the Sadducees who denied that there is any resurrection came to him and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moshe wrote for us, if any man's brother dies leaving a wife and he dies without children, that his brother should marry his wife and raise up seed to his brother.
Now wait a minute. Hold on, elder. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, we know that the Sadducees did not believe in what?
The resurrection.
The resurrection, right? So they don't really care about whose wife she's going to be in the resurrection. They trying to be slick. You know what I'm saying? They trying to throw shade on the order of Yahuwah, right? By trying to mislead the conversation into deceptiveness. You know what I'm saying? So hey, they said what again? Read that verse again.
Verse 27 through 28. Then certain of the Sadducees who denied that there is any resurrection came to him and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moshe wrote for us, if any man's brother dies, leaving a wife, and he dies without children, that his brother should marry his wife and raise up seed to his brother.
Hey, so today that would just be out of the question. People got a problem with that. What you mean you gonna marry your husband, your dead brother's wife? What's wrong with you, man? That ain't for you. Hey, but in the order of the house of Yasharah, given as a established ordinance of the Creator Yahuwah, if we all dealt with it, we wouldn't even blink twice at that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you're not committing adultery if the husband is deceased, right? Because now Yahuwah wants to preserve his inheritance and say, hey, this will work if you honor it technically. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Mm-hmm.
hey, people rather have a whole bunch of different baby mamas. Our young ladies like to have a bunch of different baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's fighting each other. Kids can't get along because they all got different genes in them, basically. You know? And now the government or the court system is involved because Most of them went to court and brought more wickedness into the resolution because they don't understand the custom set up for them from YaHUaH, because
Mm-hmm.
they're dealing with the judicial system of their oppressors, basically. So, hey, if you all would have did it right the first time, you wouldn't have to worry about hanging out with yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, hey, which is what? Child support. Hey, been
Right.
there, done that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I got the wisdom and the experience to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah. You know,
Hallelujah.
so hey, but it's a simple ordinance of the creator, man,
Mm-hmm.
that we just need to just read it, understand it, and know how to use it in our lives, right? But
Right.
hey, here's the Pharisees, here's the Sadducees who didn't believe in the resurrection, and they threw this ordinance, this law, in front of Yahusha like he didn't know what it was all about. You know what I'm saying? They trying to kick up dust and rocks to start a fight, but you're doing it with the wrong one, partner.
Right.
Simple as that, right? But
Mm-hmm.
continue, Elder.
Verse 29.
Uh-huh.
Now there were 7 brothers, and the first married a wife, but died without children. Then the second took her as his wife, but he died childless. So the third married her. Now, in the same way, all 7 eventually married her and died, but they left no children. And last of all, the woman died. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife will she be, since all 7 had married her?
Hey, so whose wife would she be since all 7 have married her, right? Hey, let's see what the master says. Continue, Elder.
Verse 34. So Yahusha answering them said, the children of this age repeatedly married to beget children to preserve their lineage. But those who will be accounted worthy of the world to come at the resurrection of the dead will not repeatedly marry to beget children to preserve their lineage. Neither can they die anymore, for they have been placed in the priesthood of YaHUaH, and they are the children of YaHUaH, because they are the children of the resurrection.
Hey, so the children of the resurrection won't need to get married. The children of the resurrection won't need to procreate. Because why? They are going to be an eternal individual. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So in this world right now, the sons of Adam need to marry, need to procreate to continue to establish their lineage or their genealogy. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
what about sex before marriage? Hey, that's kind of buck wild because we're not taught to wait. You know what I'm saying? Our parents don't really go out in the community and see what young lady is available for their son or see what young man is available for their daughter. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I think that Sheila and Eric would make a wonderful couple. What you say, Roger? Hey, Bill, I think that's pretty cool. I think my daughter's been groomed to become a wonderful helpmate. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Hey, my son, I taught him all he needs to know how to be a man, how to deal with raising his family. You know what I'm saying? That's what Yahuwah was expecting us to do. That's why we see this dowry in the midst of this union of coming together to be married before sex.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the order of God, Satan, the devil. He wants you to go and sow your oats. Like coming to America. Oh, son, you want to go and sow your oats? Go sow your oats and then come on back and get married. Wait
Right.
a minute, dude. But what if you go out and sow your oats and you make about 3 baby mamas in doing that? You know what I'm saying? And then you come into this woman to marry her that's been prepared to be with you until the day you die, and you got these kids you ain't dealing with, and just sup is all in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? That's the way of God. That's a messed up order. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahuwah is a creative order, man. You know what I'm saying? He's not the author of confusion, you know. But hey, because we are destroyed as a people from our language, our culture, our customs, our biblical principles. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because we're dealing with an oppressor who is taking all our information and safeguarding it so that we don't really explore and giving us garbage in our communities to deal with, giving us garbage in the workplace to deal with. You know what I'm saying? First to get fired, last to hire, the least paid on the job, basically, in most
Hmm.
cases. You know what I'm saying? The one always getting written up, basically. You know what I'm saying? But hey, at some point, you got to find yourself. I ain't mean finding your individual self. I mean finding the righteousness within you from YaHUaH, the Creator,
Hmm.
you know, so that it can blossom as a mustard seed so your light may shine, you know. But hey, here we are looking at sex before marriage. We look at this first scenario with Yahuda and Tamar. Was wicked. When he got Tamar to be a wife, YaHUaH took his life because of his wickedness. He told Onah to go. Onah, he pulled out. 'Cause remember, today we call it the pull out game. You know what I'm saying? I ain't that old not to understand all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, the safe way was I don't want to use no condoms or latex for protection. I'm just going to pull out. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you blink, hey,
It's over.
it's over. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's about being mature. It's about being responsible. Like I say, this is a mature conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? And we have to deal with it from a mature standpoint. That hey,
Hmm.
a lot of stuff has gone wrong since this was live ordinance among our communities when we were in the land as a people governed by the Book of the Covenant, technically, right? But hey, did we finish that already?
Yeah, we
36?
finished 36.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, let's go back to Genesis and let's see how now Yahuda, because he wanna, how they say, he wanna flex his flesh for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Because his wife died, right? I believe. Let's go back to Genesis 38 and let's pick it up at verse 13, Elder. Genesis 38 in verse 13. Like I say, we're just looking at a scenario. I got three scenarios. The first one here is Yahuda and Tamar. The second one is Adonai, his sister Tamar. And then we're gonna look at Dinah's situation. And then we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. Okay. But hey, so again, hey, shalom, shalom, family. I see y'all out there. I see you out there, famous. I see you out there, Obadiah. I see you out there, Micaiah. Hey, hallelujah. But let's continue to get this understanding, right? Because hopefully
Hmm.
it can help someone. Hallelujah. So,
Hallelujah.
so we're here to share our information. That's what we're here to do. And if it's not beneficial for you, that's okay. If you disagree with it, that's okay also. You know, but all we ask is give our information, our content, a fair listening. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
we're not here to convert nobody. But hey, you always can go do you 100. But now, Genesis 38, verse 13, Elder, because let's go back to Yahuda and Tamar, right? So hey, he did not fulfill the obligation of the law that said to have one of your sons do the duty of his brother to raise a seed for him, right? So one was wicked, Yahuwah took him out. The other one did the pull-out game, Yahuwah took him out. And the third son was so young, he wasn't quite ready to marry an elder woman, right? To bring up a seed. But Yahuwah got a plan for it, though, right? Hey, Genesis 38 and 13, elder.
Verse 13. And it was reported to Tamar, look, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So she took off her widow's garments, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she
Wait a minute.
saw that
Hold on. Wait a minute. She took off what?
she took off her widow's garments.
Okay. And then she put on what?
She covered herself with a veil to disguise herself.
So she put on some, what they would call today, some hoe clothes. Basically, what she did. Some harlotry clothes, right?
Right.
She went and got dressed up because she heard that, hey, her father-in-law was in town and she see he kept back the third son. So now she got a plan to do what? To be intimate with him, to conceive, technically. So, hey,
Mm-hmm.
if the sons can't handle the business, hey, then Pops, you got to handle the business, technically. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the way of the Creator, YaHUaH, for the preservation of the nation of the males in YaHUaH. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Today, this would be frowned upon as you ain't supposed to be going into your dead brother's wife. Hey, man, he having kids. And Yahuwah said that he needs to have a son raised in his honor from the same DNA he came from. You know what I'm saying? How close can two sons who are first cousins be if their fathers are brothers? Hey, you share a DNA that's very, very close. You know what I'm saying? So
Almost identical.
I was like, hey, you be on Maury Povich. You are the father. No, my brother is the father. No, the test said, hey, man, our genealogy is just that close that the markers are going to be almost identical. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, hey, so much for technology, right? Because that baby looked just like you. Say, he wants to spit that baby out himself. You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right, right.
He looks so much like him. But hey, here's what Tamar's doing, right? And does she feel bad about what she's about to do? No, because she was promised a husband and she was promised his seed. You know what I'm saying? So now here come her father-in-law. She being told, hey, your father-in-law is in town. And she's like, okay, I gotta go check this out. But I ain't gonna go as myself in my widow clothes because he ain't seen me in several years now. So I can disguise myself for a little bit and maybe I can get him to have me conceive his seed, right? Well, let's continue. Where we at, Elder?
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
So she took off her widow's garments, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown, but she was not given to him as a wife. When Yehuda saw her, he thought she was a harlot, because she had covered her face.
Wait a minute.
Because
So like I say, she went and put on her Harley clothes, right? She put on she put on her fishnecks, all her little mini skirt, whatever today, and she went to the party, right? So
right,
hey, but here's where the Father Yahuwah steps in at and says, hey, she's down two sons now. You know what I'm saying? So, what better way to get the son that she's supposed to have inherited with her husband who died? What better way for her to get her second son, who she's supposed to inherit through his brother who married her, in order to have the genealogy established of a husband, right? But go ahead, Elder.
verse 16. But he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. He turned to her by the way and said, "Let me come in to you." So she said, "What will you give me that you may come in to me?" Then he said, "I will send you a young goat from my flock." And she said, "Will you give me a pledge to hold until you send it?" Then he said, "What pledge shall I give you?" So she said, "Your signet and cord, and your staff in your hand." Then he gave them to her and went in to her, and she conceived by him.
Hey, so now he don't did the do with her, right? And she conceived, right? So what happened? Yahuwah blessed that conception. You know what I'm saying? To the point where he's gonna give her double for the tragedy of losing the husbands that was given to her in the beginning and the one given to her to raise a seed up to him,
Mhm.
technically, right? 19, right?
Verse 19. After she left, she took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again.
Hey, man, like I said the last time with the sins of with YaHUaH and Bathsheba. Hey man, and we talked about in Proverbs the unlearned man going into the house of a skillful woman. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So hey, you young brothers out there, be careful of those cougars out there, man, because they're experienced and they can easily deceive you into a sexual act. You know what I'm saying? Because they have your hormones on fire. You know what I'm saying? And you don't care whether she's married or not. And that's a great sin.
Yes, it
You know what I'm
is.
saying? So, hey, you have to be in control of your faculties. This is why we say be careful sex before marriage. So you can have your own wife to do all those wonderful things with. You know what I'm saying? But somebody else's wife, hey man, be be on guard, man. You
Hmm.
know, because just like old men look for young women, hey, older women look for younger men. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, been there, done that. You need to be on guard, man. It's real out here, right? But hey, here's an ordinance that don't nobody want to deal with directly. You know what I'm saying? That's old biblical stuff. We ain't got to deal with that. Hey, this was instructions for you to understand how to live in righteousness with YaHUaH by building a family. And if you die, your brother was going to be able to have a name raised up for you because of the DNA is so close, technically, right? I'm
Hmm.
gonna look at it like that because the DNA is just that close. How Yahuwah put it out is how he put it out, but how I understand it to have faith in it, hey, it's all about the DNA because it's all about the genealogy of the house of Yahshua, right? But hey, skip down, Elder, verse 24 because he
24.
found out that she was in town with where he was and she got pregnant and she's supposed to be a widow waiting for the third son, but he didn't get her the third son. And now he ready to tear her head off. But she got proof. she got the DNA report. Hey, what did he say? 99.9999 YaHUaH, you the daddy.
You the
you
daddy.
you the daddy. But go ahead.
Verse 24.
Uh-huh.
After about 3 moons after that, Yehuda was told, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the harlot. As a result, she is with child by harlotry. So Yehuda said, Bring her out and let her be burned. As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law, saying, By the man to whom these belong, I am with child. And she said, See if you recognize whose these are, the signet and cord and the staff. Yehuda recognized them and said, She is more righteous than I, because I did not give her to Shalach, my son, but he never knew her again.
But he never knew her again, and he couldn't get to know her again, but for whatever reason, the whole message of the understanding is that he was being held accountable for the two sons. One, they failed. The first one failed to be a righteous husband, so Yahuwah took him out. The second one was just as bad because he played the pullout game. So now the third son, he was too young at the moment, so he had to be groomed over a period of time of age in order to be given her to be given to him. But hey, she said his intention, Yahuwah's intention, was not for him to give me Shelah when he became a man. He a grown man now, you know. So where's my promise according to the ordinance? So hey, she did what she thought was right. Hey,
Mhm.
he said, hey, she was more righteous than I, but she put on took off her widow garment, put her whole clothes on, her street clothes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She put that outfit on, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, good, right?
Right.
So now the ordinance has been kept. She is now able to raise a seed for her husband. But not only just him, guess what? Continue, elder.
Verse 27. When the time came for her to give birth, behold, twin boys were in her womb.
Hey, so how many sons had her as a wife?
2.
2. How many children was she conceived from YaHUaH? She spit out?
2.
2. So hey, YaHUaH is perfect in his judgment. Care what they say. He's perfect in his wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we can be stupid, we can be ignorant, we can talk against the ordinances and the statutes and the laws. All that does is when we fulfill the unrighteousness of it, we sin. Simple as that. You know? So, hey, I know today people say, well, it's just the earth is 7 billion people. You ain't got to do all that no more. Hey, I ain't saying you do or you don't. I just know that this was an ordinance that was established by the Creator for his inheritance to preserve their lineage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get cut off the earth because we die in buckets. You know what I'm saying? We
Mm.
get killed in buckets, basically. I mean by that we get killed every day, sometimes for no reason at all, for just being
Mm-hmm.
us. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's terrible. Well, hey, let's go get the next situation. Let's go to second Shem Yahoo, right? Second Shem Yahoo. Let's look at King Daoud's son and a daughter by a different wife, right? So, hey, here's Adonai. He's looking at his brother Absalom's sister Tamar, right? And he gets some bad advice also, because when you want to do wrong, you look for corrupt advice. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're looking for corrupt advice, eventually you will find corrupt advice. And it will get you in the whirlwind of trouble, unfortunately, right? But hey, Second Shem Yahoo, chapter 13, verse 1, Elder, when you get there, go ahead for me.
Verse 1. After this, Absalom, the son of Daoud, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon said of Daoud, Amnon, son of Daoud, fell in love with her. Amnon became so frustrated over Tamar that he became sick. She was a virgin, and Amnon thought it was impossible to do anything to her.
Hey, okay, so I say Adonai when I mean Amnon. Okay, Amnon, right? So Amnon, he's sick with love. He ain't sick with love, he sick with lust, right? So, hey, if you want your sister back then, all you had to do was petition your father, and he would have gave the dowry. He'd have gave her to you probably. You know what I'm saying? But hey, this dude ain't looking for marriage. He's sick with lust. Thou shalt not covet, or thou shalt not lust. Right? And here's what he's doing. Go ahead, Elder.
Verse 3. Amnon had a friend whose name was Yonadab, the son of Shimeah, Daoud's brother. Yonadab was a very crafty man.
Hey, so, hey, this is all family business right now. Everybody's related in this situation. So sometimes some very bad things sexually comes out of your own house. You know what I'm saying? Whether it being molestation, it's being raped, it's being somebody being fondled. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is a mature conversation. So what we're looking at, understanding that the scriptures are giving us examples on what not to do by understanding what had happened so we can prevent this. But this is not taught in the homes, basically. Why? Because most cases, their head ain't there. And if he is there, he ain't engulfed in scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Because he's taught by his oppressors. You don't need to worry about all that. Just believe and have faith, and you're saved by grace. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, when do we learn to keep our hands to ourselves when it comes to the innocence in our homes? You know what I'm saying? But hey, so here he got a cousin, because this is Daoud's brother's son. So his cousin is giving him bad advice, bad counsel. Why? Because he's looking for some bad counsel to encourage him to do wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But go ahead,
You're looking for
Elder.
somebody to tell them it's okay to do some stupid stuff.
Most definitely,
Mhm.
right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. He asked Amnon, "Why do you, the king's son, look thinner day after day? Will you tell me?" Amnon told him, "I am in love with Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister."
Hey, be careful how you use that word love when you're talking about doing something devious to somebody else. Well, I bust your head because I love you, brother. No, that ain't love. Hey,
Right.
what do you mean that's love? Hey, I'm gonna take my sister because I love her. No, you ain't supposed to do all that, dude. What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? But God, say the devil, he looks for ways to pollute us. And if we open ourselves up to God, Satan, the devil, for all his tricks and wiles, then we find ourselves in trouble against the creator YaHUaH, because YaHUaH said, hey, here's an example how I want you to deal with a certain principle or ordinance. And then we say, well, that don't matter no more. We're going to do it our way. Now you are subject to all kind of problems and issues. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So hey, if he said thou should not steal and you keep stealing, they said you're a kleptomaniac and you get caught, what's the ramifications for that? You finna get locked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, do you have children at home? You know, because you stole when you didn't have to, because it felt good to you to deceive someone by taking their property. Now you got caught. Now your children hurt. Because remember, the father cursed the home. If the father's wicked, everybody in the house is wicked. If the
Mm-hmm.
father's righteous, everybody in the house is going to be righteous. You know what I'm saying? So just like you move the father out of the house, then the house struggle. That's a curse. You know what I'm saying? So hey, here is two cousins plotting on a third cousin, technically. Well, three cousins, and one is a brother and a sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hey, continue, elder.
Verse 5. Yonadav said to him, "Lie down on your bed and pretend to be ill. When your father comes to see you, say to him, 'Allow my sister Tamar to come and give me food. Let her prepare the food in my sight so I may watch her and then eat it from her hand.'"
Hey, to the fault of King Daoud, he ain't paying any attention. He don't know there's a plot or a conspiracy going on against his daughter Tamar by his son Amnon. You know, giving wicked counsel by his cousin. What was his
Yonadav,
cousin? What's his name?
Yonadav, Yonadav.
Yonadab, right? So hey, so he don't know, right? But he gonna listen to his son and say, "Well, yeah, I'll have Tamar come by and fix you a meal because you sit here and you starving yourself on purpose, like you sick and stuff, and you just fasting. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
hey, Daoud didn't know. But hey, there's a punishment. There's a out of wickedness breeds more wickedness, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The more wrong you do, the more wrong get compounded, and the result is disastrous. You
Right.
know what I'm
Yes, it
saying?
is. Yes, it is.
You know, so hey, verse 6, right?
Verse 6. So Amnon lay down and pretended to be ill. When the king came to see him, Amnon asked the king, "Allow my sister Tamar to come and make some cakes in my sight so I may eat from her hand."
So Daud granted his petition, verse 8.
Verse 8. So Tamar went to the house of her brother Amnon, and he was laying down. She took flour and kneaded it, made the bread in his sight, and baked it. Then she took the pan of bread and served him, but he refused to eat. Then Amnon commanded, "Send everyone for me." So they all left.
Wait a
Then
minute.
Amnon,
Hey, wait a minute. First he do what? Kicked everybody out. No witnesses. Right?
mm-hmm,
Tell everybody to leave, boom, bolt the door behind them. You know what I'm saying? So now the trap is set. Go ahead.
verse 10. Then Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food into the bedroom, so I may eat from your hand." So Tamar took the bread she had made and brought it to Amnon, her brother, in the bedroom. When she brought it to him to eat, he grabbed her and said, "Come, lie with me in the bed, my sister."
Wait
But she
a minute.
answered him,
Wait a minute now. He gonna grab her hand and say, hey, don't you feel like getting down? Don't you wanna rub my back? Don't you wanna lay next to me? Don't you wanna share our love together because I love you. Hey, man, obviously she didn't have a real problem with having to her brother fall in love with her in this instance to be married. But hey, dude, she know there's an ordinance to everything. There's a way to everything. You don't just jump on the monkey, man, and take it because you feel you can. You gotta pet the monkey. You gotta get permission for the monkey. You know what I'm saying? So hey, here he is. Sit here saying, "Come on, lie with me," right? Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
Verse 12. But she answered him, No, my brother, do not force me. Such a thing should not be done in YaHUaH. Do not do this evil thing.
So when you force her, today we call that rape. You know what I'm saying? But if it's date rape, flat out rape, whatever it is, molestations, Chester the molester, all this stuff. Like I said, this is an adult conversation. This is a mature conversation here. So, but we're looking at an evil situation, sex before marriage. Not saying that sex before marriage is an evil thing, but if you are irresponsible to handle sex before marriage, all it's going to do is cause you problems. Look at our society today amongst our community. What do we see a lot? We see a lot of baby mamas and baby daddies. And in some cases, some men got two, three, four babies. Some women got three, four, five babies, and 3 out of 5 got different daddies. That is an upside down, broken order, man. That is something that is not supposed to have happened in our communities as the house of YaHUaH, because we got these righteous statutes, these holy examples on what not to do to pollute yourself in your community or your family.
Mm-hmm.
So now she said, "No, brother, that's no, don't just take the monkey, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't just force yourself on me because you feel like you full of lust. That ain't love, that's lust. You know what I'm saying? And how do we know? Because we were down the road, he didn't want to deal with her, kicked her out basically. Well, let's continue to read, Elder. Well, we at
Verse
13.
13.
Go ahead.
What about me? How could I rid myself of the shame? What about you? You will be considered an evil fool in YaHUaH. Please speak to the king, because he will not keep me from you.
Hey, don't be a neighbor, dude. Don't have me walking around look at as I'm a hoe. I'm a prostitute, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm a woman of the night or the evening. No, dude, let's do this the right way. Let's go petition Pops so that he can do it the right way according to the order of YaHUaH's ordained marriage. You know what I'm saying? How are we supposed to be married to one another? You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mm-hmm.
say, we weren't supposed to be going out looking for wives and husbands. Our parents did the majority of the work, especially our fathers. Hey, today they call it what? A shotgun wedding. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And not because you had premarital sex and got your girl pregnant, and now the daddies are saying, yeah, y'all gonna get married and y'all gonna, do it the right way. Well, hey, that's the same thing back here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, she's saying, don't take me, definitely not by force, but ask for my hand in marriage. Then you can have all the pleasure from me you want. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
it's not love, it's lust on his part. And because he couldn't do anything, because he would be an evil fool in YaHUaH, that he talked to his cousin gave him bad advice, evil counsel, and here's where it's ending up at right now, right? So hey,
Hmm.
let's go to the King Daoud. He's not gonna hold you back from me. Go ahead.
Verse 14. However, he would not listen to her. Being stronger than she, he forced her to lie with him.
Mm. So he took it. He took the monkey. Man, give me this girl, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no witnesses, but hey, he didn't realize that his elder brother,
Hmm.
whose sister that is by the same mother, hey man, he wasn't having none of that. he was even more sometimes because Absalom gonna kill him in the end. But he's gonna be worthy of this because the law is making this acceptable because of his wickedness and evilness, basically. You know what I'm saying? Let's skip down to verse 30 and let's read the ending of this, Elder.
Verse 30. While they were on their way, this report came to Daud. Absalom has killed all the king's sons. Not one of them is left.
Hey, Absalom snapped, right? But look who's comforting Daud. Go ahead.
Verse 31. The king got up, tore his clothes, and lay on the ground. All the servants stood by with their clothes torn also. But Yonadab, son of Shimei, Daud's brother, said, my rulers should not even think they have killed all the king's sons, because only Amnon is dead.
So
This
wait
has
a minute,
been
Elder. Wait a minute. So who talking to Daud?
the son of Shimei, Yonadab, the
Yonadab,
cousin of Amnon,
the
that said,
cousin.
go ahead, man, just play sick, man. You get what you want. Have her come make you some food and send everybody away and do what you gonna do.
That's rough. That's rough. But it's
Yeah.
all in the family, though. So when we think our families are not dysfunctional, most likely we probably are dysfunctional, especially if we don't have the law in our house with us. The law of YaHUaH, that is. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, but Yonadab, the son of Shimei, right? Daud's brother said, my ruler should not even think that they have killed all the king's son because only Amnon is dead for retribution, for revenge, for the decimation of the character by forcing himself on his sister Tamar. Hey man, you had sex with her before marriage. She was telling you you can marry me if you just do it the right way. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And he
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to do it the right way because he didn't really love his sister in that capacity. He just he just wanted to soil his oaks.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he was trying to do. Right? Continue
She
that,
was
Elder.
fine, and he was trying to find a way to you know what I'm saying, step to her.
Right, right, right. So he got a little courage with some bad advice, and he executed the plan. But the plan in the end backfired on him because he lost his life still.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So hey, think that all the king's sons are dead. Just Amnon is dead. Go ahead.
This Amnon is dead. This has been the determined intention of Absalom ever since the day he forced his sister Tamar.
Hey man, Epsilon had this in play for a couple years, sitting down going over this plan. Now, is it a wicked plan? Most likely it is because it's not done in the eyes of justice the correct way. Why didn't King Daud deal with it? You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
Absalom dealt with it because Yahuwah told Daud, hey, because of the sin you did with Bathsheba, the sword should never leave your house. This is the reaction of the sword swelling in Daud's house right now.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So hey, be careful if you feel you love someone, like someone, or lusting after someone, and you force them. Hey, there's stipulations for that. You know what I'm saying? Whether you call it incest, child molestation, date rape, forcible rape, whatever it is, drugging somebody to take advantage of their bodies. Hey, like I said, this is a mature conversation. We got to understand how to govern ourselves. And the best way to do it is to do it according to scriptures of the book of the covenant, the holy instructions of the creator, YaHUaH. Simple as that. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you young brothers, learn to contain your flesh, man, because you get your wife, you have all the pleasure you want. You know what I'm saying? But don't get her if you can't take care of her and the seed responsibility that you put in her. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahuwah don't believe in the pullout game, so he don't believe in contraception, basically. That's another God thing out there for everybody. Because Yahuwah is the creator of life. Hey, Adam, go with your wife, your Isha, and be fruitful and multiply.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that, right? But hey, let's go to the law. Let's go to Deuteronomy right quick. We've got one more after this. Deuteronomy 22. Let's see if what happened to Amnon could be justifiable in the hands of his brother Absalom, right? Because this is what Daud should have done. Or, as the law said, hey, you must pay her dowry and you could never put her away. You know what I'm saying? So, hey,
Even if you don't like her.
even if you don't like her, you can't
Well,
put her
no,
away.
that's what the law say. Even if you don't like her, you can't put her away. You
You
know?
can't put her away, right? So don't bad talk about her either. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So hey, you got to deal with it, right? But hey, right now there's the sisters out there are just as aggressive as the brothers when it comes to the pleasures of their flesh. You know what I'm saying? And in this case, most of them are just reckless with it, and they are creating problems. They're gonna create a child to be supported by a welfare system. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go into a woman and produce these children and not take care of her and the children. You know what I'm saying? That's how YaHUaH said to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, let's look at this law in Deuteronomy 22, and let's see, does this law represent a justification for Absalom against his brother Amnon, who forced himself upon their sister? Right? 22 and 28, elder.
Verse 28. If a man comes upon a young woman, a virgin who is not betrothed, and he takes her and has sexual relations with her, when they are found out, then the man who has sexual relations with her shall pay the young woman's father 50 shekels of silver, that is about 1¼ pounds. Then she shall be his wife because he has humbled her. He shall not be permitted to divorce her as long as he lives.
Hey, so that's the right way of doing it. He forced himself on Tamar. You need to go to your dad and say, well, yeah, I took her virginity. Hey, here's my inheritance. I'm gonna pay you the dowry from my sister Tamar, and I'm gonna be happily ever after with her. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But that's not what was in Absalom mind, right? What was in Absalom mind was read verse 27.
27. For the man found the young woman in the countryside, and though the young woman screamed for help, there was no one to aid her.
So hey, he kicked everybody out. Wasn't no one there to help her. No matter how loud she would have screamed, he did his thing with her. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's important to understand, how did Absalom feel about this thing, though, man? Because he's saying that he needs to die, basically, right? So here let's start at 25.
25. However, if a man comes up on a betrothed young woman in the countryside, and the man forcefully has sexual relations with her, then only the man who lay with her shall be put to death.
Hey, so we know that Tamar wasn't engaged or already given to a man, but hey, this act of forcing himself, this is what Absalom looking at. Man, you took my sister's virginity. You could have just asked Pops to ordain the marriage, man. But now, because not only did you force yourself on her, but you disrespect her as if she was nothing. Oh man, that ain't happening here. So hey, Absalom, he waited till things calmed down, and then he set his plan into motion to kill Amnon, his brother, the rapist of his sister. Technically, that's how he looking at it. Like I say, family, this is a mature conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's just put it out there and understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because most of us have seen these situations in our lives. We have lived long enough to see this stuff in our lives. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So hey, don't it ain't about being shocked or anything. It's about, yeah, I've seen that before in my life. You know what I'm saying? In most cases, more than once or twice. You know, but hey, there's a law. There's a stipulation behind this. Last place. Let's look at Dinah and Shechem, basically. Because again, here is a man who's going to take a woman in a field and lay with her without permission of the father, technically. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, before you go and deal with a woman to be your spouse, you have to deal with her father. You know what I'm saying? I remember, when I was 15, my little first girlfriend, my mom was always say, "Hey, I'm gonna let you go over here, but don't go in there and play under that girl's dress." You know what I'm saying? But was I trying to hear all that? Because I was jacked up. I was like, my girlfriend, we finna experiment. You know what I'm saying? But hey, ain't nothing new under the sun. And young men are still doing that stuff today. Young girls are still doing that stuff today. They're exploring, but they're exploring with no knowledge. You know what I'm saying? They're exploring with no understanding of the repercussions. And so now, because they think they love each other, which we used to call it puppy love back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
they out here doing adult things and they still in their minor bodies. You know what I'm saying? You're not in a full adult body with a full registered adult mindset, and you ain't got a job in the house to bring in a woman, young lady, make her your wife and raise your house. You got to be mentally tough for that. You got to be ready to accept all the responsibilities that go along with that, or else you're going to find Chisup, or Chisup going to find you in the court system, and y'all going to be buddies for the next 18 to 20 years probably. So, hey,
Right.
be thou careful. But hey, Genesis 34, we're going to wrap it up. Genesis, the 34th chapter. And let's pick this up at verse 1, Elder.
Verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, the ruler of that area, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her.
Wait a minute,
His
he
heart,
did what?
he violated her.
He violated her because he didn't have no right to her body without the permission of her father to set up the marriage and the dowry, right? So now he finna start backtracking because he know he did something to another people's daughter, and now that's tribal warfare basically about to start. So how we gonna keep the peace? Now we gotta go and do what's right. If you love her, then you're gonna take care of her. But hey, because you jumped the gun, that's what we always say. Man, don't jump the gun with that just yet, But because Shechem jumped the gun with Dinah, it caused all type of repercussions because it was out of order, technically, right? So go ahead, Elder.
Verse 3. His heart was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this young woman as my wife." And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field, so Jacob held his peace until they came in. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard, and the men were hurt, and also very angry because he had done an evil thing against YaHUaH by lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing which ought not to be done.
Hey,
But
it
Hamor
all
spoke
not
with
to hold on, it ought not to be done because they had their customs. You know what I'm saying? They were keeping the institution of marriage in the sacred order of YaHUaH. Well, hey, young people with their emotions all over the place can get themselves in trouble if they don't understand their emotions. You know what I'm saying?
right.
All this, it was love at first sight. No, it was lust and attraction at first sight. Because you don't know the person enough to say, well, I'm in love with that person. Hey, they could be the most rottenest person on the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, here the word is love. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're gonna roll with it then, dude. But in that love, as Jacob learned with Laban when he thought he labored for Rachel and he got Leah. You know what I'm saying? Because Laban said, it's not our custom to give the younger before the elder. So,
Right.
dude, you got 2 wives. Work 7 more years again, and you can have a younger daughter because you really put all that work in for the elder daughter who you didn't want because you didn't understand the custom.
Right. Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So, hey,
Hmm.
before you go visiting the young lady that you're trying to court, you better understand the custom of the father's house, his ordinance, before you call upon his daughter. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So,
Hmm.
but today, it ain't happening like that. Everybody just out there buck wilding for the most part. And it's a very minimum that most of those who are trying to keep it subtle and truthful, you know, struggling with it. You know what I'm saying? So hey, be like, man, I can't wait till you grown and on your own, take care of yourself. Because it's rough. You know what I'm saying? But hey, the brothers were angry because they felt their sister was defiled. Same mindset that Absalom had against Ammon because he felt he really defiled his sister and then left her out to dry,
Hmm.
basically, right? But hey, skip down, verse 11, Elder.
Verse 11. Then Shechem said to Dinah's father and her brothers, let me find honor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me, I will give.
Uh-huh.
Make the, make the bride price ever so much dowry and gift, and I will give according to what you tell me, but give me the young woman as a wife. Then the sons of Yaqub answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, and spoke deceitfully, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. And they said to them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that is a shame to us. Only one condition we will consent to you. If you will become as we are, and every male of you is circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will settle among you, and we will become one people. But if
Hey,
you will not,
wait a minute. Hold on, Elder. So the play is in hand now. The brothers come up with a remedy to get some get back, basically, for Shechem defiling their sister. Hey man, men have died over lesser, you know what I'm saying? But when you defile a sister or a mother, man, brothers look to kill. You know what I'm saying? They look
mm-hmm,
to kill. You know, and then this is a baby sister also in that aspect.
mm-hmm,
Oh man, you raped my sister. Is what it's the thought in their mind. You forced her against her will. And now you sit here asking for her hand in marriage. Well, you should have did that first because that's the order. And now you backtracking, trying to clean up your garbage. There's a price to pay now because the sons of Yaqub are girding up with the deception of having these brothers circumcised. Because once you get your winker adjusted with the what's that
flip
flint
knife.
rock, the flint rock, you're gonna be in pain for some days, right? So
Mm-hmm.
hey, they caught him at their weakest point, at their weakest moment, though. This is what made it real bad. But go ahead, Elder.
Verse
Uh,
7, verse
17.
17. But if you will not listen to us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and be gone.
Okay, so they fell into the deception. They wanted to be in agreement because they wanted to have shalom among them. You know what I'm saying? But ain't no shalom coming out of this because the sons of Yaqub are already put the plan in motion, man. Like Absalom. Absalom waited a couple years before he put his plan into motion and
That's
said,
right.
hey, he think he got away with this. But I got something for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So now here go the sons of Yaqub circumcising, or having the sons of Shechem, Hamar circumcised. You know what I'm saying? And now here come the wrath and thunder. Right? Skip down verse 25, Elder.
Verse 25. Then on the third day, when they were in pain, two of the sons of Yaqub, Shammah and Lehi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly into the city and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out from there. The sons of YaHUaH then came upon the slain and plundered the city where their sister had been defiled.
Hey man, so they went ahead and they killed a whole clan of men, basically. You know what I'm saying? Why? For what they thought or understood was the sin of defiling their sister when they could have had offered a dowry. She could have been given to him in marriage, and it could have been hunky dory. But hey, sex before marriage. Hey man, be careful, my young brothers out there, because that's a pitfall, especially if you're
Mm-hmm.
not mature enough to follow up with the whole process of, okay, I got Kiki pregnant. I'm crazy about Kiki. And I'm out here trying to get this house together. And I'm making a place for Kiki and Junior. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna tie the knot because it's less confusion when you marry lawfully. You know what I'm saying? But when you out there living, shacking up under the common law or boyfriend, girlfriend, then you got a whole bunch of outside noise. Hey,
Right.
let's just get married according to the will of YaHUaH so that we can block out all the outside noises, whether it be father, mother, in-laws, friends, cousins. Because remember, people love to give bad counsel, especially if they're not righteous. They think that their advice is the sugar honey iced tea. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it leads you off a cliff. So be careful, my young brothers. Get into
Mm-hmm.
your Torah, man. You elders, get into your Torah. You still got young sons in your home. Hey, teach them Torah, the way of our Father, the Creator, YaHUaH. And let's come out of a lot of this mess with all this noise around us, man. Let's take care of our sisters and our mothers properly. You know what I'm saying? Stop getting your booty calls on. If you love her, take care of her. If you love him, respect yourself and say, hey, I'm not ready yet until I get a ring on it, as they would say today. You know what I'm saying? But most people feel that they're mature enough to handle their bodies, and most of us are not, especially when you are actually under the age of 25 for the most part, because you ain't even begin to start living. And then you come into your own when you're 30, because Yahuwah say, hey, by the time a male turns 30, he should already be in his ministry of Yahuwah in serving the law in his life in his house.
That's
Simple
right.
as that, family. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, but hey, Elder, I thank everybody for giving us the opportunity, for
Mm-hmm.
allowing us to share our information, read these precepts line upon line, precept upon precept, because again, it's all about serving the Creator Yahuwah. We are not God worshipers. We gave that up a long time ago because Yahuwah revealed to us who God was: Satan, the devil, Lucifer, Heliel, Satan, all that stuff. Hey man, it's about getting everything right, living right for Yahuwah. Because all we're doing now is preparing ourselves for tomorrow for Yahuwah's kingdom. So live righteous today according to what Yahuwah have established for us, that we hit the ground running in the kingdom, baby. Because all things that offend will not get in. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
You got anything, Elder?
Not really, but that sex before marriage, don't sacrifice your life, for temporary pleasures, you know.
Mhm,
And that's what you do a lot of times is you sacrifice yourself for a moment, rather than waiting for the marriage.
mhm,
So wait for the marriage of Yahuwah, because when you sacrifice, that really is supposed to be you that dies. And
mhm.
Yahuwah said in First Shem Yahu, uh, chapter 15, I think it's verse 23, says, "Hey, I rather you obey me than sacrifice." Because sacrifices and offerings, he didn't really care for. He just wanted you to obey his voice. And
Right.
according to what Moshe gave as the law of Yahuwah, he explained marriage. Yahuwah explained that, hey, man and woman should become one flesh and live as such and and fill the earth with seed that you will raise up to YaHUaH, holy seed to YaHUaH. So don't sacrifice your righteousness for momentary evil, because YaHUaH is expecting you to live a righteous life according to his instructions.
Hey, Elder, if you want to read it right fast, it's First YaHUaH chapter 15, verse 22 and 23. And let's get out of here because, sometimes our people attention span gets real short. So we want to make sure everyone get the whole information and enjoy it in the will of YaHUaH. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. YaHUaH. Okay. First YaHUaH, chapter 15, verse 22, and it reads, Then YaHUaH said, Has YaHUaH as great a delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of YaHUaH? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen than the fat of rams, because rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is the same as iniquity and God worship, the worship of Elohim. Because you have rejected the word of YaHUaH, he also has rejected you from being king.
Hey,
Shalom.
so, hey, thank you all again for allowing us to share our information. We're not here to convert nobody. We're here to share our information, and hopefully it's enlightening. If not, you don't have to agree with anything that we say, but we ask you to give our information or content a fair examination before you haul off and make a frivolous judgment. So with that,
Mhm.
praise YaHUaH, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the father of Abraham, the father of Isaac, the father of Yaqub, and shalom in the name of YaHushua, our Masha'ah, ordained in the heavens and the earth to redeem and reconcile us back to our Father, the Creator, YaHUaH. Hey, with that, Elder, hey, I love you. Ahava, shalom to you and your Isha and your house, and we hope all is well. And I'll see you when I see you, and I talk to you when I talk to you.
Love you too, Elder. Shalom, shalom.
Sure, sure. And everybody else, hey, Ahava, love you also. And hey, stick with us because we got a whole lot of information to share. And with that, in Yahushua's name, good night and shalom, shalom.
Shalom.